How's it going, guys? It is Galake back with more readings, finally, more of the Kybalion. It has been a very long time since I've been able to get around to doing these videos. It's been preoccupied with a lot more stuff, a lot more busy these days, so much so that I'm even behind on videos for my other channel, which is a little bit crazy, but finally finding the time to continue our readings. We have currently going on this channel the Kybalion, which I'm going to be continuing today, as well as the completion process, which is the other reading that I started not all too long ago, but way too long since I've last done a video for them. So today we're going to be continuing with the Kybalion. If I have time after I'm done doing this one, which I should, because this is a pretty short chapter, I think I'm going to try and knock out a reading for the completion process as well. So stay tuned for that one, but we're going to go ahead and do chapter 3 of the Kybalion today, which is entitled Mental Transmutation. I don't have my glasses, so bear with me. Mind, as well as metals and elements, may be transmuted from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration. The hermetic transmutation is a mental art. The Kybalion. As we have stated, the Hermeticists were the original alchemists, astrologers, and psychologists. Hermes, having been the founder of these schools of thought, from astrology has grown modern astronomy, from alchemy has grown modern chemistry, from the mystic psychology has grown the modern psychology of the schools. But it must not be supposed that the ancients were ignorant of that which the modern schools supposed to be their exclusive and special property. The records engraved on the stones of ancient Egypt show conclusively that the building of the pyramid the records engraved on the stones of ancient Egypt show conclusively that the ancients had a full comprehensive knowledge of astronomy, the very building of the pyramid showing the connection between their design and the study of astronomical science. Nor were they ignorant of chemistry, for the fragments of the ancient writing show that they were acquainted with the chemical properties of things. In fact, the ancient theories regarding psychics, are being slowly verified by the latest discoveries of modern science. Oh no, it is physics. By the very discoveries of modern science, notably those relating to the constitution of matter. Nor must it be supposed that they were ignorant of the so-called modern discoveries in psychology. On the contrary, the Egyptians were especially skilled in the science of psychology, particularly the branches that the modern schools ignore, but which, nevertheless, are being uncovered under the name of psychic science, which is perplexing the psychologists of today and making them reluctantly admit that there may be something in it after all. The truth is that beneath the material chemistry, astronomy, and psychology, that is, the psychology in its phase of brain action, the ancients possessed a knowledge of transcendental astronomy called astrology, of transcendental chemistry called alchemy, of transcendental psychology called mystic psychology. They possess the inner knowledge as well as the outer knowledge, the latter alone being possessed by modern scientists. Among the many secret branches of knowledge possessed by the Hermeticists, was that known as mental transmutation, which forms the subject matter of this lesson. Transmutation is a term usually employed to designate the ancient art of the transmutation of metals, particularly the base metals, into gold. The word transmute means to change from one nature, form, or substance into another, to transform. Webster. There's Webster in parentheses. And accordingly, mental transmutation means the art of changing and transforming mental states, forms, and conditions into others. So you may see that the mental transmutation is the art of mental chemistry, if you like the term, a form of practical mystic psychology. But this means far more than appears on the surface. Transmutation, alchemy, or chemistry on the mental plane is important enough in its effects, to be sure. And if the art stopped there, it would still be one of the most important branches of study known to man. But this is only the beginning. Let us see why. The first of the 7 Hermetic principles is the principle of mentalism, the axiom of which is the all is mind, the universe is mental, which means that the underlying reality of the universe is mind, and the universe itself is mental, that is, existing in the mind of the all. We shall consider this principle in succeeding lessons, but let us see the effect of the principle if it be assumed to be true. If the universe is mental in its nature, then mental transmutation must be the art of changing the conditions of the universe along the lines of matter, force, and mind. So you see, therefore, that mental transmutation is really the magic of which the ancient writers had so much to say in their mystical works, and about which they gave so few practical instructions. If all be mental, then the art which enables one to transmute transmute mental conditions must render the master, the controller of material conditions, as well as those ordinary called mental. As a matter of fact, none but advanced mental alchemists have been able to attain the degree of power necessary to control the grosser physical conditions, such as the control of the elements of nature, the production or cessation of tempests, the production and cessation of earthquakes, and other great physical phenomena. But that such men have existed and do exist today is a matter of the earnest belief to all the advanced occultists of all schools. That the masters exist and have these powers, the best teachers assure their students, having had experiences which justify them in such belief and statements. These masters do not make public exhibitions of their power, but seek seclusion from the from the crowds of men in order to better work their way along the path of attainment. We mention their existence at this point merely to call your attention to the fact that their power is entirely mental and operates along the lines of the higher mental transmutation under the Hermetic principle of mentalism. The universe is mental. Quote the Kybalion. But students and Hermeticists of lesser degree than masters, the initiates and teachers, are able to freely work along the mental plane in mental transmutation. In fact, all that we call psychic phenomena, mental influence, mental science, new thought phenomena, etc., operates along the same general lines, for there is but one principle involved, no matter by what name the phenomena be called. The student and practitioner of mental transmutation works among the mental plane, transmuting mental conditions, states, etc., into others, according to various formulas, more or less, efficacious, I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, the various treatments, affirmations, denials, etc. of the schools of mental science are but formulas, often quite imperfect and unscientific, of the Hermetic art. The majority of modern practitioners are quite ignorant compared to the ancient masters, for they lack the fundamental knowledge upon which the work is based. Not only may the mental states, etc., of one's self be changed or transmuted by Hermetic methods, but also the states of others may be and are constantly transmuted in the same way, usually unconsciously, but often consciously by some understanding the laws and principles, in cases where the people are affected are not informed of the principles of self-protection. And more than this, as many students and practitioners of modern mental science know, every material condition depending upon the minds of other people may be changed or transmuted in accordance with the earnest desire, will, and treatments of person desiring change conditions of life. The public are so generally informed regarding these things at present that we do not deem it necessary to mention the same at length, our purpose at this point being merely to show the Hermetic principle and art underlying all of these various forms in practice, good and evil, for the force can be used in opposite directions according to the Hermetic principle of polarity. In this little book, we shall state the basic principles of mental transmutation, that all who read may grasp the underlying principles and thus possess the master key that will unlock many doors of the principle of polarity. We shall now proceed to a consideration of the first of the Hermetic 7 principles, the principle of mentalism, in which is explained the true. This book is sometimes the way they write their sentences is just it feels very unnatural, in which is explained the truth that the all is mind, the universe is mental. In the words of the Kybalion, we ask the close attention and careful study of this great principle on the part of our students, for it is really the basic principle, the whole Hermetic philosophy, and of the Hermetic art of mental transmutation. All right, and so that does it for chapter 3. A very short one, but still quite a mouthful. Mental transmutation seems like it's just sort of prefacing this topic of psychic phenomena, which is basically what they're trying to get down to here, with all the fancy words and all the juicy paragraphs. But it looks like we're going to dive quite deeper in chapter 4, which is entitled The All. I'm going to skim through this one real quick. Not that long, a couple more pages longer, but still, I think chapter 4 is bound to be an information-full section, so I'm preparing myself to divulge into that, which will be coming up pretty soon, but only after I'm finally able to get around to doing the next chapter of the completion process. If you haven't checked out those readings as well, they're all up on the channel. Make sure you go back, get caught up on those, because the completion process is yet another really good book. Much more down to earth, I would say, than probably this one is, that I'm also doing alongside the Kybalion. So make sure to check that out if you haven't yet. That's going to do it for this reading today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your energy, and hopefully I can see you guys very soon in the next reading, so stay tuned. Take care.